Hello, 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 hello. Give it a few minutes. Hopefully, someone will show up. If not, I'm still going to discuss the book either or. All right. So I'm going to give it about a good 5 minutes before I start out with the discussion of what's going on. I'm going to tell what the books are going to be for next month. Next month's books are going to be very exciting books. I started reading one of them, and it's caught me with the first chapter. So, and then it's going to be a continuation of um, Secrets of a Side Bitch. We're going to go to do Secrets of the Side Bitch 2 because that was such a good cliffhanger. And I hope my sister shows up so we can talk about it. It was very, very good. So we give people a few more minutes and then I'm going to start talking about it. Right. I don't have any music because everything I have is copyrighted. So maybe in the future I'll have some music for y'all. But right now, you have to bear with me. Okay. And this is the book Jessica N. Watkins, Secrets of a Side Bitch 2. Okay. So this is the continuation of March book. This is going to be February's book. That's one of the books because these books, you can read these books in a week or less if you're a reader. And it also has narration. So you can just listen to it while you're driving, in the bathroom, when you're cooking. If you have a break at work, you can listen to this book. And I guarantee it will have you glued to it. All right. And the next book, that this book, was totally surprised. I got the little part that they give you to read it to check it out, and I was totally taken by the first chapter. I decided that I was going to read this book, and it's by Suzette D. Harris, and it's called The Dust Bowl Orphans. You will love this book, I guarantee you. If you're not hooked by the first chapter, you're just not a reader at all. It's a very good book. So check both of those books out for next month. All right, we're gonna try to do the first Friday of that month, and a lot of people probably didn't show up because I accidentally put the wrong date. I put the second, and this is the first. So I was gonna be the first Friday of every month. All right, so give it a few more minutes, a minute and a half. All right. Hi, Diana. I was just talking about the next month's book. I think that you're gonna like next month's books. We'll talk about it again. Hopefully, Opal will show up and Dominique will show up, and we can all start talking. And we're going to talk about this book because I know a lot of people did not read this book because I didn't get a good. I got a lukewarm response with. I talked to people about the book. It's Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Boy. I want to apologize. I meant to get the Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. This book is by Emmanuel Achuo, and he writes pretty good books. But this book, um, I knew most of the stuff that he was talking about. He was talking about, dealing with how black people can get white people to understand us and things like that. And he talked a little bit. The most intriguing part about it for me was that he talked about how growing up in a black atmosphere, but going to school in a white atmosphere was very conflicting for him. And I found that to be very uh, interesting because growing up, I grew up in all black atmosphere until they integrated schools. But the thing was that my home life was totally different from my street life. I had to code switch basically when I walked into the door of my parents' house. I could not do what I did out in the street in my parents' house like kids can today. They can do whatever they freaking feel like. But I code switch when I got back out in the street. I had a totally different demeanor. You had to be a little rougher in the streets where I grew up. And but when you came into my parents' house, you were going to speak properly and you was going to behave like you were supposed to. And so I code switched a lot. And basically that's what he was talking about, how he was he did, but he didn't see that's the difference between me and him is that I felt comfortable at home. He didn't feel comfortable at the church and he didn't feel comfortable at the school because he was around black people at the church, but he didn't feel black enough because he's from Africa. And then he didn't feel comfortable being around white people because they say that he wasn't black enough either, because they think that the stereotypical ways that black men act or black children act, he didn't do that. He was learned, he was very well mannered, and he wasn't walking around trying to be a b-boy. So the white people will always say stuff. Then this is would piss me off because they will say shit like this to me. Also, they'll say, uh, "I'm blacker than you." No, you're not, because you cannot go and you cannot live in my footsteps because I'm always going to be black. You can play black, but you can quit that doing that anytime that you feel like you want to. All right. And it also had a lot of good history facts in there and a lot of good discussions that you can have with your children when things happen to them in society, out in the public, how to handle themselves and how to talk to other people about being black. All right. And this is a good book, but it's not going to happen because they're burning books these days in America. Uh, this would be a good book for a parent, a non-black parent, a non-POC parent to get their children to read so they can understand and have some empathy for other black kids, because that's one thing that they do not have out there today is empathy for anybody. They just about themselves. All right. So did you read any of these books, Deanna? Maybe I should type it in. Maybe she. That's Dana. I'm a Diana. Hey Dana, I'm sorry. I said called you Diana. I'm crazy. I need to wear my glasses. I don't wear them. Yeah. Anyway, where are my notes? Because we're going to talk about the main book. I was trying to wait for my sister to show up because she read the book, and I try to get her not to talk about it to me over the phone because I want it to be authentic and not discussed beforehand. Okay, you read some of both of them. Did you read? I know the other book, like I said, um, the conversations with the black boy was a little something. I'm sure that a lot of those women in my family did not get into, which is understandable. But I'm sure the secrets y'all got into that one because that book left me with my mouth open at the end, and I was totally shocked about the whole situation of this book, and it was a situation. All right, so we give them just a one more minute before I start talking about the other book. And Dana, I don't know if I want to tell you. I'm not gonna spoil it for you at the end. But it was really a shocking, jaw dropping moment at the very end of the book. And I was selling before you came. I was saying about the books for next month. Let me pull them up again. The books next month, I think you're going to enjoy them a whole lot more than um, the other book. I'm gonna stop doing books trying to teach, and I'm gonna try to do books to entertain because it seem like those are the type of books that do better than books that try to teach. So I'm going to try to entertain more and stop trying to be someone's teacher, I guess. But this book, if you can see it, I hope you can. All right, there you go. That's one of the books for April. It's called The Dust Bowl Orphans. Like I was saying, it's by Suzette D. Harris. Like I said in the beginning, this book, I had got a little snippet of it on Kindle, and I read that first chapter. I was already hooked. I said, I got to read this book. It's a very good book, at least from the first chapter of reading it, because I was looking for a book and looking for a book, and I finally said, let me go on Kindle and read some of these little chapters that they give you for free. And I read a few different ones. I read the write ups on some of the books, and I was like, because I'm trying to find something that can appeal to guys. Because my channel is a not a total guy channel, but I'm a man, so I speak to men mostly on my channel, but I do speak to women also. And but as far as knowing women's problems, I do not try to get into that arena. I am not that guy that was going around sleeping on his wife, and at the same time he's telling women, you're a queen, don't take nothing from nobody, but he's treating his own woman terribly. I'm not that person. I'm the person that is trying to give you a little entertainment, trying to give you a little knowledge, and trying to keep you fit and healthy. And that's it. I don't want to get into that manosphere stuff, even though I'm around the border of it. I'm not trying to get into a bunch of arguments, or I told you at one time I did get canceled because of a video I made. And after that, I say, you know what? I don't need to be in that atmosphere or in that arena because I'm not doing this, well, for a check. I'm doing this for entertainment. If something come of it, that's great. But I have a job. So that's what that's how I see about it. That's what I say to myself about this whole situation. I don't understand why people can get into uh, all of this craziness that they get into by fighting and arguing over nothing. Live your life and keep it moving. All right. The second book is a continuation of one of the first books that we had last month. This is called Secrets of a Side Bitch 2. It is by Jessica N. Watkins. All right. The first book, like I said, was a jaw dropper. And I was not expecting it. I expected a little, you know, rump in the hay, a little bit, say, what's her name back in the day? Zane, a little Zanish, but it ended up surprising me completely because it turned out to be a little more than that. So you need to check this out. So we're going to talk about the characters in the first one, The Secrets of Side Bitch. All right. Omari is a typical Pookie Ray Ray, but he has a big heart. And evidently, he also has a big penis because that's all he did. He screwed his way through this book. He had a girl, he has a girlfriend, and her name is Aisha. His girlfriend Aisha, she's a hard worker. He's a hard worker. They trying to, they ghetto couple trying to make it, a dollar out of 15 cents. Okay. They're going around and he works for UPS and she does some kind of nursing thing or something like that. Two jobs, and they not still not living how he think that they should be living. Okay, but like I say, he can't keep his thing in his drawers, so he is sleeping. Also, he met a young lady named Simone, and him and Simone were kicking it, but he was taking it lighthearted. But Simone was falling in love with him. All right, Simone is a very wicked lady. She wants what she wants, and she's going to get what she wants. So that's Simone. All right. Tammy. Tammy is the nurse. Aisha is not the nurse. Tammy is the nurse. And Tammy has a boyfriend, and his name is Jimmy. Jimmy is violent. He's a woman beater. And Tammy is trying to get out of a relationship with him. And he would not let her go. He stalks her. Tammy ended up leaving their home and going into an old friend of hers named Dante. That's how it is. Dante is the cleanup man. Dante is like not okay. He's kind of beta, but he's not. It's that she put him in the friend zone, and when shit hit the fan, what do? They run to the friend zone guy, and he's there to try to protect her and keep her, from being beat up by her boyfriend Jimmy. So she also now she started getting a little feelings for him, but I think he has moved on. He has a relationship, so he don't want to mess up his relationship. All right, but that didn't stop him from kicking it with her. He still got the draws, but he did not mess up his relationship messing with her. Okay. Um, Omari has to end up working, doing, what people do on the street is moving weight. And he had a friend by the name of Capone. Capone is a rabbit ass Negro who has a crazy ass street mentality. Okay, he is one of and that whatever movie you've seen in the late 80s, early 90s, about black guys on the street that has they have that street mentality. He is the epitome of that. He is on the street. Hey, Opal, by the time you showed up, okay, I'm talking about Secrets of the Side Bitch. I already talked about Emmanuel Acho's book, but I really didn't have much to say about it because I had picked the wrong book. I needed to pick uh, conversations, uncomfortable conversations with a black man, and I picked uncomfortable conversations with a black boy. All right. So forgive me for that because I know you probably had a hard time reading that because you had a hard time reading the book before that ended up being a children's book. But this was kind of like a children's book also. But I got my act together for April. So we'll move on from that. All right. So getting back to Capone. Capone talks Omari into pushing weight on the street. All right. Okay. Out there in the street, there's nothing but trouble out there on the street. And that's what ended up happening. You're not guilty. It Omari is not guilty for doing anything. He is guilty by association. And when you're guilty by association, the police don't care and they're going to use you to their benefit. And that's what Capone thought, that Omari had turned over on him and snitched. But Omari never had snitched. But Capone had it in his head that Omari has snitched. So now has it out for Omari. Amari was also sleeping with. Um, he slept with Tammy one time. One day he was in the bar and Tammy was there. She looking good, and they went to the car and they do, and he slept with almost, like I say, almost every woman in the book. He also slept with their neighbor. I cannot remember her name for nothing in the world right now, and I thought I wrote it down, but I didn't. But the neighbor, she was a wretched girl with a bunch of children, and she was jealous of Simone because Simone had Omari, and Omari was trying to do right by Simone, and just like any Hayden heifer, she's going to be mad that Ebony, that's her name. Yeah, Ebony. Thank you, Dana. Ebony was the one hating Heifer. She had no aspirations. All she wanted to do is screw her way through life and have babies and be the neighborhood gossip. But she faked being friends with Simone because she wanted to sleep with Omari as often as she wanted to sleep with Omari, and she used it against him uh, to make him sleep with her when she wanted him to sleep, because she was going to like tell Aisha that Amari was sleeping with her, but she basically was telling uh, Aisha that Amari was sleeping around with everybody, which he was, but she never put that she was sleeping with. Yeah, Tammy was really wrong for sleeping with Omari, but um, the way they describe Amari, he sound like the bad boy that all women like, green eye, light skinned boy with dreads. I was that once without the green eyes. But so yeah, she was drunk also. But getting back to Ebony uh, tried to be as close as she could to Aisha, especially after Aisha got pregnant, because Aisha was having a very bad pregnancy that she could not do anything. She almost miscarried and she had to be in bed rest. So who steps in? Ebony. Ebony steps in and she screws Amari. Why? Because somebody got to do it. Ebony, Aisha can't do it, so why not Ebony? That's how she felt about it. All right. And Tammy and Simone were friends, and Simone secretly hated Tammy because the same reason why Ebony didn't like Aisha. Simone didn't like Tammy because Tammy was younger and she was finer and she was more she didn't have a rough life. Simone had a rough life. It was just her and her mother, but Tammy came from a family and her mother, her mother loved her. Simone's mother didn't love her, but Tammy's mother loved her. And I think that that's what she hated about Tammy the most because she had support of her mother. You know, a lot of people that, especially if they don't have close relations with their family members, they really envy people who have family. Family means a lot to some people, especially it means more to people that don't have it than the people who have it. We take it for granted. We take each other for granted when that we have family. But people who don't have family wish that they had it with all of their. I'm talking about until their dying day. They looked for a mother's love, a father's love. They keep marrying these people. They can't be single. They're trying to find that love that they never had growing up. So that's what Simone problem was, that she could not stand Tammy, but she played it off pretty good. The same way Ebony did Aisha. All right. And after um Aisha was put on bed rest, Tammy was sleeping around with Omari, and Omari got picked up by the feds because of something that Ching, who was uh, the head drug dealer, who was Omari's homeboy for way back when, Ching was the person who had the clout on the street. He had runners, he had people underneath him, and he kept Omari around to help him because Omari was Aisha was having a baby, and Omari wanted to make more money because he wanted to get Aisha out of the ghetto, and he and Aisha was going to move out of the ghetto and get a house, a real nice house. So he was putting in all these hours at UPS, and he was slinging with Ching and Capone, and he was going to try to move out before the baby was born, and he got picked up by the feds because of something that Capone had did. But like I say, you're guilty by association, and Capone felt that uh, Omari had something to do with him getting picked up by the feds. Instead of coming to Omari like a man and saying, what's going on, what's happening, he just going to assume, and he's going around giving beef, which I think that is kind of like very effeminate because you're not coming to a man straight up. You're going around following him in your car and giving him nasty looks and doing bitchy ass things, but that's ghetto ass niggas do. You know what I'm saying? They they don't have any male influence, so they do this exaggerated idea of what they think that a man is, and it's not working. It's giving bitch. It's giving BRN, bitch raised nigga. Okay, so um, when Amari had everything set up, him and Aisha was going to move into this house, and Aisha had problems with the pregnancy. She had to end up going to the hospital, and Amari came there and he was helping her, and uh, they said that she had to be on bed rest until the baby was born, so she had to depend on Ebony for everything. So um, I don't want to give away the end of the book, but something very fatal happens, and you may not know who exactly did it, but we're going to see in the next book, and that's going to be Secrets of the Side Bitch 2. We know who basically did it. And these two characters who came together to do uh, harm to some of the main characters. Say, go ahead. Okay, Daddy, you want me to go ahead? All right, I'm going to go ahead. Okay. Um, you would think by the way the book was written that something was going to happen with Ching. You thought Ching was going to be the person who was going to come out of the bag and start shooting people, killing people, whatever going on. But to our surprise, it wasn't. It was the side bitch, Simone. Simone had crafted a lot of stuff to get Aisha out of the picture so that she could have Omari to herself. And it's kind of sad because she also had a young guy by the name of Chance trying to talk to her. And Chance seemed like he was a good guy. He was a stand up guy. But like I say, they don't want to talk to the good guy. They don't want to talk to the guy who is average. They want to talk to the guy who is above average because from what they was how they were describing, he was above average in looks, and he was a street guy, and they like that. He had swag, but Chance was he had swag, but he didn't have no money. All right, he wasn't slinging that gang. You know what I'm saying? He was not doing that. So uh, she kind of like friend zone Chance and put him to the side because she wanted Amari so bad. And how bad did she want Amari? She wanted Amari bad enough to kill Aisha and the baby. But the baby survived. But she killed Aisha. She killed Tammy. And she had some other stuff that she ended up playing. And guess who was her cohort, who was helping her do all the bad things she was doing in the book? Because things would happen in the book, like, oh, something bad happened. Oh, Tammy got killed. Oh, that's sad. That must mean that her boyfriend Jimmy caught up with her. Oh, this happened. Oh, that means this happened. So, but no, it was Simone orchestrating all of this stuff. And she had a cohort, and guess who it was? Capone. Capone, who is one of Amari's closest friends, has came into cahoots with Simone on doing all of these things. I think because he likes Simone also. So what does a beta does to help to he wants a woman to love him, so he's doing really not probably even love, he just want to kick it with her because he may have a little hate for Amari because Amari getting all the women, but he wants to get with Simone. So to get with Simone, he's doing her bidding. And I'm telling you this, and now you're gonna go watch I'm gonna go read the book, and everything that happened. You can already know that it had happened because Simone had a hand in it. I didn't want to say it, but since Dana said go ahead and tell it, and it's only a few of us in here, so I went and told it. So that's the end of that. So I'm gonna give you the books for next month again. First Friday of every month. These books should be easy, fast, and in a hurry for you to read, and they are very interesting. Opal, I'm gonna get you this time on. It's something that you're gonna like. Okay, the one of the books is called The Dust Bowl Orphans, and it's by Suzette D. Harris. All right, Dust Bowl Orphans. It's I'll give you a little bit about what it is. It's about a black family in the Midwest trying to get to California. Okay, it's there were three girls and a boy. The girls' name were Faith, Hope, and Charity. All right, Charity dies because she got bit by a rattlesnake. And the son, I forgot what his name is now, but he is about going to lose a foot because he stepped on something rusty. And he, back then, you step on something rusty, you're going to get your leg chopped off. So, Faith, Hope and Faith, um, Hope is the youngest. She's like under 5 years old, and Faith is somewhere between 12 and 15. And after Charity died, she is now the oldest of the three sisters, and she's the oldest child, so they put more on her. So they all are trying to get to California on a mule wagon. Okay, so things that have been happening in the Midwest is called the Dust Bowl. Everything that was green and that was lush and that was striving is gone. There's nothing but dust, and you will have these big dust storms that was so thick with sand and dust that you could not see in front of you. And I'm gonna leave it at that. But now I'm gonna just say this part: the family gets caught in a dust storm, and they get separated, and it's trying to the two youngest, the two daughters are trying to find their family and trying to get there or find their way to California at the same time because they got separated by the dust storm. So that's a good book. Definitely go and check that out. It is called The Dust Bowl Orphans. All right. Suzette D. Harris. I'm a fast reader, especially if it's good. Excuse me. And like I say, you have narration with these, so you don't have to sit there and hold the book and read it. I um, turn it on in my car. I use it, as reading material in the bathroom, if you know what I mean. I listen to it while I'm cooking. I listen to it, if I have any spare minute and I'm not doing anything, instead of turning on the TV or playing on my phone, and you'll be done with it before you know it. So that's one thing I'm going to try to advocate. Excuse me. The pollen here is killing me. That's one thing I'm going to try to advocate for people to do. Even if you don't like to read, listen to the narration, and the narration is pretty good for this one. The narration for Secret of the Side Bitch was pretty good too, because when the person who spoke as Simone really made you want to slap the shit out of her because she has such a attitude about her. You met people like this person before that think that it's all about them. All right. Secrets of the Side Bitch. It starts off again. I read part of the first chapter. It started off again with Capone and Omari in the bar. So if you read the first one, you'll know where I'm talking about, what I'm talking about, where it started off with Capone and Omari in the bar. And I'm sure that Simone is not far behind. All right. So next month, I'm praying that I can get more people to read, because for some reason we don't like to read. So I'm going to stop trying to preach and teach, and stop trying to find books that's going to teach you something. And I'm going to find books that entertain. So hopefully that'll make people uh, read books. And I'll try to find books that black men are the worst of all as far as reading. You know, if they don't have to read for work, they're not reading. So I'm going to try my best to bring books that are entertaining for everybody, not just, Dana, you suggested a book to me, but I think that that book will not be interesting to men. You know, um, it's kind of hard to find books that can be interesting to both sexes, and a lot of, like I say, a lot of men just they don't read unless they reading for uh work. So what I'm going to do is entertain from now on. So anybody has anything they want to add before I close this out? I'm sure the book that you it's a great book. I'm sure it's a great book. But I just don't think that the few men that keep saying they're going to show up but they never do, I don't think that they're going to enjoy reading that book, because it sounds like it was more of a female empowerment type of thing. And I'm trying to bring a little bit of something to everybody. And we might next month even go back to the author that wrote God Doesn't Like Ugly. We might do God Still Don't Like Ugly next month. We'll see. I'm going to look around and get some suggestions, and hopefully uh, I can find a book that everyone will want to read. But these books that I just mentioned, I promise that you will find them interesting and, like you say, a fast read. So these books should be fast reads. All right. So I'm going to close this out now. And thank you, Dana and Opal, for showing up. I don't guess Dominique has given up on us, and Deanna, she suggested a book too, and I said no. After that, she didn't show up anymore. But you already read the book, so why should I uh, do it? Like I say, I'm trying to find books that are going to be interesting to everybody, and I'm trying to find a book that I haven't read. So if you already read it, what's the use? But hopefully next we're gonna try to get some of these relatives of ours on here. I'm going to try to start reaching out to them, the ones from Alabama and Carolina, and I don't think I'm followed. Yeah, do I follow anybody from Georgia? I don't follow too many people from Georgia. But Leonard, I'm totally surprised that he did not show up here in California. But definitely, we're going to try to make it a family affair. That we all can get on here and we all can talk to each other and read these good books and discuss them. But all right, family, that's it for me, and I will see you. A third person, oh, that's me. And it says three people. It's me, you, and Dana. All right. So make sure you like the video. So at least it'll have 2 likes, okay? So before you leave, like the video. And I'm going to talk to y'all again. I'm going to talk to you before next month, but hopefully y'all enjoy these books. And if you can, find a book that you have not read and shoot it to me, okay? And we'll try to see what we can do for the next month. But read these books. I guarantee you that first chapter on Dust Bowl Orphans is going to intrigue you. All right. So I'll talk to you later. And as always, I thank both of you.